pieces that I'm cutting, they're getting a little thick. And I'm going to get some one by out of those, so I'll probably mill them separately. Don't really need the sled because they're straight to the log. So I'll clean them up. All right, let's cut some wood. Turn on the old deal, lined it up with a parallel line so that it'll be cut straight. And there we go. You can hear this blade whenever it starts getting a little bit dull. You can hear it screaming at you. When it first started, it was pretty quiet. Getting a little dull with it scream. So there's that. Now we're coming out with some nice wood. And I cut that, most of that this morning, and then a little bit last night, but not very much. Turn that off. And pull that guy out of there. There's a nice board. Nice heavy red oak board. Sorry about the movement. We'll slide this thing back about a 1/4 inch so I don't drag it against that blade. That kind of dulls that blade when you're dragging the back across it. And I'm doing about everything I can to keep that as sharp as I can. So I can do that. I'm going to come up with a little cam action that will bring it back 1.5 inches and about a 2-inch travel, so that I can just swing it and it will make it move that way. So, turn that off, move this thing up to the next line there and get it lined up for the cut. Alright, board's off of there, start up, let her rip. It gets a little dull, sometimes I'll bring that down a little bit and keep it, start getting wavy. Sometimes I can turn it up, speed it up. Each log's a little bit different. The size of this machine, you know, it takes some time. That's what it needs to do. Nice and straight. Here, it's that turns off. Turn that off. Pull it back a little away from the blade, put it on return, and away we go. That's all I need to do is get it back past that. I will say, if I really want this thing to haul and go fast, I can crank this thing over here on the 200 amp engine start. Right now it's only 40 amp. 200 amp will make it go probably a third faster than that, but them blades can't really keep up with that. But it's nice for the return. If I'm in a hurry, I can zoom it back here to it. I mean, it's still slow, but it's a lot faster than I'm wanting to move it and drag it around. So anyway, let's get that one adjusted up. Take another 1-inch board. Counterweight's going up. Down to the end, it shuts off automatically. It's that limit switch. This one here, I need to put an adjustment in there because the weight of the log's pulling it back and forth. It's constantly moving in and out. So there's another nice board, and that's 3. I don't know if you price this stuff, but you go buy that at Menards. That's a $50 bill. So of course, you know, this has got the personality. Any boards, if you don't resaw them down, 3-4 inches, resaw them down, they warp. So, you know, I'm getting more yield out of this than what I really need as far as the width. But you know, with the figure and the wood and everything, this was a tree that has been standing. It had some rot in the bottom of it, and so, you know, the bugs had eaten some in it. But this will make some really cool looking signs. If I really wanted to, I could, make some signs and get them going there. So, all right, let me scoot this thing back and get it moved out of the way. It's starting to get light enough to where I can easily do it. So we'll just bump it back a little bit, hit the turn, go to town, put this up here on 200 amp. You can see her going now. It doesn't hurt it. I mean, it's that return. That's what I cut on. About the 40 amp. And it has 6 volt. I can really slow it down. All right, this long black line goes all the way across here. That's my last cut. That will leave about 1.25 inch board on the tail end side of it. Ample room for the screws that are down in here to clear. They're 1 5/8 inch. That's 5/8. So they're only going 1 inch. So I've got probably 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch of play between hitting the nails. If I don't go past this, I don't ever have to worry about that, hitting the nails. So that's pretty much my last cut, and everything that's the remainder I'll just plane off. Anyway, so let's get that one cut, and she's locked in. Don't have to measure anything. Fire up the saw, turn on the winch. That saw making that winch controlling it, it does a real good job of cutting nice and even. I will give kudos off to this blade. Let's take this the first time I sharpened it, and that's pretty good. So turn that thing off. It's time to take that off there and go get another log. All right. Of course, I just backed out the screws on that one. Take this off there, and it's the remnant, so it's a little bit thicker. And now all I gotta do is just vacuum these off. Hit the old remote on here. This has got a breakaway chain. By the way, if you haven't got one of them new DeWalt Quiet Techs, it's on. So the guy up there is on. Turn it off. This controls all my vacuums and my stuff. And it's on a breakaway, so there's a piece of masking tape there. If I hit this good and hard, it'll break away, so I ain't gonna pull my face down into a blade or something. Anyway, so good suction. All I really need to do is drag these over these things, clean them up, and get the loose sawdust off it. Keeps it from molding, or it helps it keep from molding. If you don't do that, it'll get all moldy and it'll look, funky. So I'm trying to keep the mold down. So I'll vacuum those all off and then stack them, and I need to go get the mower and move this stuff out of the way. That starts putting some pretty good weight on that table saw. All right, I vacuum this. When I go get another log, I generally vacuum the whole table and clean all the grooves. If you don't keep this clean, this thing will pick up bark and different stuff, and it'll get in there and it'll wedge up your bandsaw blade. This, of course, was a nice, neat curve when I first started 100 logs ago. And as time went through and the blades got warped, this gets consumed. One of these days, I'll probably put a board down in here and lay something in for a curve saver, and just maybe cut it on the table saw and mill out a little bitty piece, or maybe make a router jig and put in another deal. Right now, it doesn't really bother me. Just right here, it kind of warps up a little bit. If you try and do the crosscut sled, not the crosscut, but the moderate gauge slide, it's not enough to hold these big logs. It'll warp and twist, and then this full length table that goes all the way across here is held in place, keeps it flat. This has got a little bit of a bow in it right here, and of course, as soon as you cut that will break that mold. But for the biggest part, it keeps it from shifting. It keeps your cuts straight and parallel. So let's go get another log and get this thing going. I do need to go get the lawn tractor and move this out to the shed. Let's do that first. Well, all of the waste of the waste, I got the hardwood out of it. Had a little bit of junk wood in it as well. That was that pile that was set over here to the left that had still some pretty good chunks. Anything that was over 1 inch in diameter and square, I pretty well got it. Just resawed it I didn't even really screw it to anything. I just run it through the bandsaw and stack up 3 or 4 pieces and run them. So that's what I came up with. But it's a lot faster to rip these on here, so I'm going to rip them my stickers. These will be some stickers for some more of this. All right, I'm stacking up to belly button height, which is almost 4 feet tall. So that's a pretty good stack of red oak. There's a couple pieces of cedar at the very bottom, and then a few pieces of maple. But the rest of it's some of that red oak. And there we go.